And in this recording, which will be the last one in this introduction section, we'll quickly talk about cloud service models. Infrastructure as a service, IaaS for short, platform as a service, PaaS in short, and software as a service, SaaS. The last one you might have heard because as a user of many different subscriptions, we are using so-called SaaS programs, software, which is built in a subscription. So then this kind of products are running in a SaaS model. The other two might be a bit new, but it's not that difficult. So infrastructure as a service. Azure Infrastructure as a Service provides you virtualized computing resources, so of course over the internet. So in this model you will manage operating system, you will manage middleware and applications, and Azure will manage only the physical infrastructure. So for example, Azure Virtual Machines is the most known example of infrastructure as a service. Azure Storage is also as an example. Azure Virtual Network, and for example also Azure Load Balancer. So those are examples on infrastructure as a service in Azure, services in Azure. Next. Platform as a service will provides a platform allowing customers to develop, run, and manage applications without the complexity of building and maintaining all big infrastructure. So, for example, Azure App Service, Azure Functions, Azure SQL Database, or Azure Kubernetes Service. So if you need a database, if you need a web application with some kind of backend, then you would use platform as a service. So you would, for example, most like Azure App Service. You could also use Azure Functions to do it serverless, or for databases, one of the databases which is available. And this one, which you might have heard, so this is basically a software application. So basically, these are software or applications which you can just run on individual computer. And there are also a couple of them in Azure. So Microsoft 365, Salesforce, Dropbox, Zoom. Those are examples. So in Microsoft 365 you would have Office apps, for example, all this Excel, PowerPoint, Word, but also Teams, Microsoft Teams, SharePoint, OneDrive. All these are examples for SaaS. Also, for example, Dynamics 365, Microsoft Dynamics, DevOps services like for CI/CD pipeline, Azure repos, if you know maybe Azure pipelines. This is all about software as a service. So in short, infrastructure as a service provides maximum control but requires more management. Platform as a service offers development platform with managed infrastructure, so it's something in between. And SaaS, software as a service, delivers ready-to-use application with minimal setup. Of course, you will choose on what you need. Sometimes, to be honest, you just use this Azure service which you need, and you are not going to think whether this is a platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, or software as a service. But there might be a couple of questions on the exam which it's good for you to know, and of course just to have a theoretical overview that there is such a division between let's say as a service parts of Azure, but also of of a cloud in general, of cloud computing in general. And then I will be starting a new section, and I will start this of course in the next recording.